Welcome to a journey through the incredible civilizations of the Maya, Aztec, and Inca. From towering pyramids to floating gardens, from terraced mountains to precise astronomy, we'll explore 100 fascinating facts that reveal their genius, ingenuity, and connection to the cosmos. Get ready to discover how science, art, and daily life intertwined in ways that still inspire today. Chapter 1. The Maya built vast cities with towering pyramids, precise calendars, and advanced astronomy. They could predict solar eclipses and track Venus with accuracy unmatched for their time. Their written glyphs recorded history, rituals, and trade, showing a civilization deeply connected to both science and spirituality. Every stone in their temples told a story of knowledge, power, and cosmic understanding. Chapter 2. The Aztecs thrived on Lake Texcoco, creating floating gardens called chinampas that fed millions. Their agricultural innovation combined engineering and biology, allowing crops to grow efficiently in water. Warriors trained from childhood, mastering strategy and discipline. Every temple ritual aligned with celestial events, proving they linked religion with astronomy. Their society balanced survival, art, and science in a unique ecosystem. Chapter 3. Inca engineers built roads stretching over 25,000 miles across mountains, deserts, and valleys. Their suspension bridges used natural fibers strong enough to hold dozens of people. Terraced farming preserved soil and water, showing early ecological awareness. They recorded information with quipus, strings with knots representing numbers and data. Even without a written language, the Incas created a precise system to manage a vast empire. Chapter 4. Mayan astronomers mapped the stars, predicting eclipses decades in advance. Their long count calendar spanned thousands of years, revealing a deep understanding of time cycles. Mathematics flourished, including the concept of zero, centuries before many other civilizations. Temples were aligned with solstices, connecting architecture with cosmic events. Every ritual, every glyph, reflected a sophisticated mind exploring both the earthly and the celestial. Chapter 5. Aztec markets were hubs of economy, culture, and knowledge. Merchants traded cacao, gold, textiles, and obsidian tools. They understood the chemistry of dyes, metals, and pottery. Medicine combined plants and rituals, with healers studying the human body through observation. Education was valued, with boys and girls learning history, religion, and practical skills. The Aztecs wove science into daily life, making survival an art. Chapter 6. Inca stone structures have stood for centuries without mortar, using precision cutting and weight distribution. Machu Picchu demonstrates architectural genius, designed to resist earthquakes. Their farming methods utilized microclimates to grow diverse crops, showing advanced ecological science. They measured rivers, rainfall, and soil conditions to optimize harvests. Every road, terrace, and building reveals a society blending practicality, engineering, and respect for nature. Chapter 7. Mayan priests observed Venus as a war god, guiding military and ritual decisions. Writing, math, and astronomy intertwined with their spiritual beliefs. They carved elaborate stelae to record kings' deeds, cosmic events, and sacrifices. Observatories like El Caracol in Chichen Itza show precise tracking of planetary movements. Knowledge was power, and the Maya combined science, religion, and art in ways that remain fascinating today. Chapter 8. Aztec warriors used obsidian blades sharper than steel to hunt and defend. Military rank was earned, not inherited, based on skill and bravery. Their society valued strategic thinking, mathematics, and memory. Floating gardens were ecological experiments, maintaining biodiversity and soil fertility. Temples aligned with sun and moon cycles, linking daily life with celestial observation. Science, survival, and spirituality were inseparable in Aztec culture. Chapter 9. The Inca system of quippus recorded taxes, population, and resources, functioning like a data network. Roads connected distant regions, allowing messages to travel quickly with relay runners. Terraces reduced erosion and created microclimates, showing understanding of environmental science. Llamas carried goods, while water channels irrigated crops. Every element of Inca infrastructure reflected engineering brilliance combined with ecological insight. Chapter 10. Mayan cities were centers of learning and observation. Astronomy guided planting, rituals, and architecture. They developed a complex number system including 0, enabling precise calculations. Glyphs preserved stories of kings, gods, and daily life. Observatories aligned with equinoxes captured the sun's movements perfectly. Science, spirituality, and society were inseparable, showing a civilization that mastered both earthly and cosmic knowledge. Chapter 11. Aztec engineers built causeways and aqueducts to control Lake Texcoco's water, preventing floods and supplying fresh water. Their urban planning integrated canals, temples, and markets, blending function with beauty. Calendars and astronomy dictated festivals, agriculture, and war. Observing sun patterns, they predicted seasons accurately. Every aspect of Aztec life balanced survival, knowledge, and spirituality, showing a society where science and culture intertwined seamlessly. Chapter 12. Inca farmers used terraces on steep slopes to maximize arable land. They studied soil, rainfall, and altitude, selecting crops perfectly suited for each microclimate. Potatoes, quinoa, and maize thrived under these methods. They stored surplus food in massive granaries, ensuring resilience against famine. Engineering and ecological understanding worked hand in hand, making Inca agriculture both efficient and sustainable, centuries ahead of its time. Chapter 13. Maya cities contained ball courts used for sport and ritual. These courts symbolized cosmic battles between gods of day and night. Players used strategy, physics, and teamwork, reflecting sophisticated thinking. Temples overlooked these courts, reminding citizens of divine order. Astronomy guided timing and ceremonies around the games. Even recreation connected to science, religion, and social structure, blending entertainment with cosmic symbolism. Chapter 14. Aztec temples were architectural marvels aligned with celestial events. Pyramid steps marked solstices, equinoxes, and Venus movements. Priests used these alignments to guide agricultural cycles. Human observation, geometry, and trial and error allowed precise construction. Temples were centers of worship, learning, and community. Every ritual, every festival, showed the Aztecs' ability to merge science with religion in ways that shaped daily life profoundly. Chapter 15. The Inca built suspension bridges from woven grass, spanning deep gorges. These bridges were maintained by communities, showcasing engineering and social organization. Roads connected distant cities, allowing armies, messengers, and traders to move efficiently. Water channels irrigated crops, while terraces prevented erosion. Knowledge of physics, materials, and environmental science enabled these feats. Inca infrastructure combined practicality, community effort, and genius engineering. Chapter 16. Mayan astronomy predicted eclipses, equinoxes, and planetary cycles with astonishing accuracy. Observatories like Uxmal and Capon recorded data for centuries. Knowledge of math, time, and celestial patterns guided rituals and kings' decisions. Calendars structured agriculture, trade, and festivals. Science was inseparable from daily life, teaching the Maya to live in harmony with the cosmos while achieving societal sophistication beyond their era. Chapter 17. Aztec education trained all children, teaching history, religion, and skills for survival. Nobles studied astronomy, math, and warfare. Commoners learned trades, agriculture, and ethics. Science, art, and spirituality were integrated into lessons. Observing stars, planting seasons, and rituals created a practical knowledge system. Learning wasn't optional. It shaped citizens capable of maintaining the empire's complex economy and culture effectively. Chapter 18. Inca engineers constructed massive stone walls without mortar. Stones fit perfectly, surviving centuries of earthquakes. Machu Picchu's terraces were designed to capture rainfall, reduce erosion, and create microclimates for diverse crops. They understood material strength and hydrology intuitively. Every stone, every terrace, reflected knowledge of geology, ecology, and engineering. The Inca turned mountains into living cities, blending science with architecture flawlessly. Chapter 19. Mayan writing captured history, science, and mythology. Glyphs recorded kings, reigns, rituals, and celestial events. Scribes mastered complex symbols, showing memory, logic, and artistic skill. Mathematics and astronomy informed calculations of eclipses, crop cycles, and ceremonial dates. Learning was reserved for the elite, but the city benefited from their discoveries. Knowledge was power, woven into every monument, temple, and artifact the Maya left behind. Chapter 20. Aztec medicine combined observation and herbal knowledge. Healers treated wounds with herbs, bark, and minerals, understanding biology and chemistry. Rituals accompanied treatments, connecting mind, body, and spirit. Hospitals existed for warriors and citizens, showing organized healthcare. Science was practical and spiritual, applied daily to maintain health. The Aztecs demonstrated how empirical knowledge and cultural belief could coexist to sustain a thriving society. Chapter 21. Inca Quipus recorded numbers, resources, and census data using knots and strings. This tactile system allowed administrators to track everything from crop yields to soldiers. Messengers carried quipus across the empire, creating an early data network. Even without written language, the Incas mastered record-keeping, combining mathematics, communication, and logistics into a system that kept a vast empire organized and efficient. Chapter 22. Mayan temples aligned with solstices, equinoxes, and lunar cycles. Architecture reflected deep understanding of astronomy and geometry. Kings used these alignments to plan ceremonies and agricultural cycles. Stone carvings depicted celestial events and myths, merging science with storytelling. Observation of the night sky was central to governance, religion, and daily life, showing how the Maya connected knowledge of the cosmos with human activity. Chapter 23. Aztec floating gardens, or chinampas, were ecological marvels. Plants grew on reed mats above water, maximizing space and nutrients. Fish fertilize the soil naturally, creating a self-sustaining system. Crops thrived year-round, feeding millions. The Aztecs combined observation, trial and error, and ecological science to engineer these gardens. Their ingenuity demonstrates how societies adapted creatively to challenging environments. Chapter 24. Inca roads wound across mountains, deserts, and forests. Relay runners called chasquis carried messages swiftly, using human speed as a communication network. Roads connected administrative centers, military posts, and markets. Engineering knowledge ensured durability despite earthquakes and landslides. The Inca integrated geography, physics, and logistics, turning the Andes into a connected and efficiently managed empire. Chapter 25. Mayan mathematics included the concept of zero, enabling complex calculations. Calendars tracked lunar and solar cycles precisely. Priests used math to predict eclipses and Venus' path. Knowledge of numbers guided agriculture, trade, and rituals. Math was practical, spiritual, and intellectual, giving the Maya tools to explore both earthly and cosmic patterns. Their innovations influenced civilizations centuries later. Chapter 26. Aztec warriors practiced ritual combat to gain status, training mind and body rigorously. Strategy, endurance, and weapon mastery determined success. Observation of enemy tactics and environmental conditions enhanced battlefield decisions. Science, though informal, guided warfare techniques, showing practical application of knowledge. Every campaign combined intelligence, courage, and observation, reflecting a civilization where survival and skill were intertwined. Chapter 27. Inca terraces created microclimates, allowing multiple crops in a single location. Potatoes, maize, and quinoa thrived at different elevations. Water channels and drainage prevented soil erosion, demonstrating ecological engineering. Terracing maximized productivity while preserving the environment. Inca farming was not just survival. It was science, art, and sustainability merged into a system that fed millions reliably across diverse landscapes. Chapter 28. Mayan ball games symbolized cosmic struggles, linking sport with religion. Observing angles and force, players mastered physics intuitively. Courts were carefully aligned, connecting games to celestial cycles. Victory held political and spiritual significance. Science, strategy, and faith intertwined on the court, showing the Mayas' holistic approach to life where recreation, ritual, and knowledge were inseparable. Chapter 29. Aztec medicine used over 1,500 plant species for healing. Healers combined observation, herbal knowledge, and ritual to treat illnesses. They studied anatomy, effects of herbs, and symptoms systematically. Hospitals cared for warriors and civilians alike. Knowledge passed orally, and through apprenticeship ensured continuity. Science and spirituality merged seamlessly, providing practical solutions while honoring cultural beliefs. Chapter 30. Inca bridges used modular rope designs, maintained by entire communities. Materials were renewable, demonstrating understanding of tensile strength and sustainability. Roads and bridges allowed trade, military movement, and communication across challenging landscapes. Observation of physics, geography, and materials, science guided construction. Inca engineering shows how empirical knowledge, community cooperation, and environmental awareness shaped infrastructure that endured centuries. Chapter 31. Mayan scribes recorded rituals, history, and astronomy on codices made from bark paper. These books preserved knowledge of stars, calendars, and kings' reigns. Glyphs combined art and science, encoding complex ideas visually. Priests and scholars studied them to predict eclipses and plan agriculture. Even after centuries, these codices show the Mayas' dedication to knowledge, precision, and documenting both the earthly and celestial worlds. Chapter 32. Aztec markets were highly organized, with sections for food, textiles, and tools. Merchants tracked supply and demand using observation and basic math. Obsidian knives, cacao, and feathers were traded efficiently. Knowledge of materials, economics, and social networks was applied daily. Markets became centers of culture and science, where practical knowledge met commerce, and innovation thrived in the heart of Tenochtitlan. Chapter 33. Inca engineers built drainage systems in terraces to prevent flooding and erosion. Water flowed through carefully designed channels, distributing moisture to crops evenly. Observing rainfall patterns, soil types, and terrain, they optimized agricultural productivity. Terraces were both functional and durable, blending engineering, ecology, and science. Inca innovation ensured food security and environmental harmony in mountainous regions where farming would otherwise be nearly impossible. Chapter 34. Mayan observatories like El Caracol were positioned to track planets and stars. Roof openings and windows aligned with celestial events. Priests studied the skies, predicting eclipses and guiding agriculture and rituals. Knowledge of astronomy influenced city planning and temple construction. Science and religion were intertwined, allowing the Maya to navigate time, seasons, and societal needs with remarkable precision and understanding. Chapter 35. Aztec education included astronomy, math, and history. Boys and girls learned trades, agriculture, and moral lessons. Advanced students studied celestial patterns, engineering, and governance. Knowledge was applied practically. Planting cycles, temple construction, and warfare depended on observation and calculation. The Aztecs created a system where science, culture, and daily life were inseparable, preparing citizens to sustain a complex, thriving empire. Chapter 36. Inca granaries stored maize, potatoes, and quinoa for years. Temperature and humidity were carefully controlled using stone insulation. These storage systems ensured survival during droughts or crop failures. Observing climate patterns and food consumption, the Incas applied practical science to societal management. Granaries reflect not just engineering, but foresight, planning, and the intelligent use of natural materials to sustain millions. Chapter 37. Mayan pyramids aligned with equinoxes, marking sunrises and sunsets with striking precision. Temples served as both spiritual centers and astronomical instruments. Priests observed angles, shadows, and celestial cycles to plan ceremonies and agriculture. Mathematics and architecture combined to create functional monuments. Every stone reflected knowledge of geometry, astronomy, and ritual, linking science and spirituality in tangible, breathtaking ways. Chapter 38. Aztec floating gardens supported biodiversity and food production. Fish fertilized crops, while plants filtered water naturally. The system recycled nutrients efficiently, reflecting an understanding of ecological science. Agricultural innovation allowed densely populated cities to thrive. Observation, experimentation, and adaptation were central to survival. The Aztecs engineered a living ecosystem, demonstrating how science and daily life merged to create sustainable urban environments. Chapter 39. Inca roads included milestones and resting stations for messengers and travelers. Distances were carefully measured using paces and observation. Engineers accounted for slopes, drainage, and materials, ensuring durability. Communication networks allowed rapid information flow across vast territories. Science, logistics, and organization created infrastructure that connected mountains, valleys, and deserts, showing the Incas' practical understanding of geography, physics, and administration. Chapter 40. Mayan mathematics used base 20, incorporating 0 to perform complex calculations. Priests and scholars applied math to astronomy, calendars, and architecture. Observing planetary movements, they calculated solar and lunar cycles with precision. Science and ritual were inseparable. Numbers guided planting, festivals, and governance. Their understanding of mathematics shows a civilization capable of abstract thought while applying it practically to everyday life. Chapter 41. Aztec warriors wore protective gear made from cotton, leather, and obsidian. Training focused on strategy, endurance, and weapon mastery. Observing opponents, movements, and terrain improved battle outcomes. Military campaigns applied practical knowledge of physics and psychology. Success relied on skill, observation, and planning. The Aztecs combined science, training, and ritual to create disciplined armies capable of defending and expanding their empire. Chapter 42. Inca terraces captured rainfall and prevented landslides, protecting soil fertility. Water channels distributed moisture evenly, ensuring crop growth. Observation of microclimates guided crop selection for each terrace. Engineering, ecology, and agricultural science merged to feed a vast population. Terraces exemplify how the Incas applied empirical knowledge to overcome mountainous challenges, making their civilization resilient, productive, and sustainable. Chapter 43. Mayan scribes recorded rituals, kings, deeds, and astronomical events on stone stelae. Glyphs combined visual art with precise data. Priests used these records to plan ceremonies and predict celestial phenomena. Writing preserved knowledge across generations, linking science, religion, and culture. The Mayas' dedication to documenting both human and cosmic events highlights a civilization that valued observation, logic, and memory. Chapter 44. Aztec chinampas, or floating gardens, allowed multiple harvests per year. Fish fertilized crops naturally, reducing labor and chemical use. Engineers considered water flow, soil nutrients, and plant compatibility. These gardens maximized productivity while maintaining ecological balance. Science, observation, and ingenuity were applied practically, feeding dense populations and demonstrating the Aztecs' ability to engineer sustainable urban agriculture. Chapter 45. Inca roads traversed steep mountains, deserts, and rivers. Bridges and switchbacks allowed safe travel for armies, traders, and messengers. Engineering included drainage, retaining walls, and durable paving. Observation of materials, terrain, and climate guided construction. Roads were lifelines, connecting distant regions and facilitating administration. Science, logistics, and engineering combined to create infrastructure that endured centuries. Chapter 46. Mayan astronomy tracked Venus, the sun, and the moon with stunning accuracy. Observatories like Karakol allowed precise prediction of eclipses. Mathematics and observation guided agricultural cycles and ceremonial timing. Knowledge of celestial patterns was practical and spiritual. The Maya integrated science into everyday life, connecting ritual, governance, and farming with cosmic events. Chapter 47. Aztec medicine relied on over 1,000 herbs and minerals. Observation and experimentation guided treatments for wounds, fevers, and infections. Rituals complemented practical care, connecting mind, body, and spirit. Hospitals cared for warriors and civilians, showing organized healthcare. Science and cultural beliefs merged seamlessly, demonstrating a society that valued empirical knowledge while honoring tradition. Chapter 48. Inca granaries preserved food for years, using stone insulation and ventilation. Crops like maize and quinoa remained edible across seasons. Observation of humidity, temperature, and storage techniques ensured reliability. Granaries were strategically located near roads and settlements. Engineering, environmental science, and foresight combined, showing how the Incas applied knowledge to sustain millions efficiently. Chapter 49. Mayan ball games symbolized cosmic conflict, blending sport and ritual. Courts were carefully aligned with celestial events. Players applied force, angles, and strategy, showing intuitive physics understanding. Victory had social and spiritual significance. Science, observation, and ritual intertwined in play, demonstrating the Mayas' holistic worldview where learning, entertainment, and cosmic order connected seamlessly. Chapter 50. Aztec temples aligned precisely with solstices and equinoxes. Priests used these alignments to schedule ceremonies and guide agriculture. Geometry and observation enabled accurate construction, linking architecture with science. Every festival and ritual reinforced celestial understanding. Temples were not only spiritual centers, but instruments of empirical knowledge, reflecting the Aztecs' ability to merge science, culture, and religion in daily life. Chapter 51. Inca engineers built suspension bridges from woven grass, crossing deep canyons safely. Communities maintained them regularly, showing social organization and engineering knowledge. Bridges allowed armies, traders, and messengers to traverse mountains efficiently. Observation of materials, tension, and environment guided design. These structures combined physics, practicality, and cooperation, enabling the Inca Empire to remain connected and resilient across vast, challenging landscapes. Chapter 52. Mayan scribes developed a complex writing system with over 800 glyphs. They recorded history, rituals, and astronomy, preserving knowledge for generations. Mathematics and observation guided glyph placement, calendars, and temple inscriptions. Writing was practical and sacred, blending science, storytelling, and governance. The Maya created a visual language that encoded both empirical data and cultural beliefs, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of communication and logic. Chapter 53. Aztec warriors trained in strategy, endurance, and weapons from childhood. Observation of terrain, enemy behavior, and environmental conditions improved tactics. Physical skill was combined with mental calculation, showing informal application of science. Military campaigns relied on preparation, knowledge, and discipline. Aztec armies were not just strong, They were efficient systems where practical knowledge and training merged to ensure survival and expansion. Chapter 54. Inca terraces managed water efficiently, reducing erosion and increasing crop yields. Engineers observed rainfall, slope, and soil composition to optimize planting. Microclimates allowed diverse crops to grow in one location. These terraces combined ecological science, engineering, and agriculture. Inca farmers applied observation and experience to transform mountains into productive land, demonstrating sustainable solutions that fed millions in a challenging environment. Chapter 55. Mayan pyramids served as observatories, temples, and political symbols. They aligned with solstices, equinoxes, and planetary cycles. Mathematics, geometry, and astronomy guided their construction. Priests used observations to plan rituals and agriculture. Every monument reflected a blend of science, culture, and spirituality. The Maya connected the heavens and the earth, demonstrating precise knowledge applied practically to daily life and governance. Chapter 56. Aztec floating gardens were engineered ecosystems. Crops thrived on nutrient-rich mats, fertilized by fish. Water circulation and plant selection maximized yield. Observation, experimentation, and ecological understanding created a self-sustaining system. These gardens fed large populations and supported urban density. Science and practical survival merged seamlessly, showing how the Aztecs applied knowledge creatively to overcome environmental challenges. Chapter 57. Inca roads and bridges enabled rapid communication and trade across vast terrain. Messengers called chasquis carried information with incredible speed. Engineering included drainage, durable paving, and slope management. Observation of geography and materials ensured long-lasting construction. Roads connected the empire, facilitating administration, commerce, and military movement. Science, logistics, and planning created infrastructure that supported one of history's most organized civilizations. Chapter 58. Mayan mathematics included the concept of zero and a vigesimal base system. Priests and scholars applied this knowledge to calendars, astronomy, and architecture. Observing planetary cycles, they predicted eclipses and agricultural events. Math guided practical and spiritual life. Maya innovation in numbers allowed complex calculations, planning, and record-keeping. Their understanding of mathematics reflects a civilization that combined abstract thought with everyday applications. Chapter 59. Aztec medicine used herbs, minerals, and ritual to treat illness. Observation of symptoms and effects allowed healers to refine treatments. Hospitals existed for warriors and civilians alike. Science and spirituality merged, ensuring practical care while maintaining cultural beliefs. Knowledge was passed orally and through apprenticeship, showing systematic study and application. The Aztecs integrated empirical observation with tradition to sustain health and survival. Chapter 60. Inca granaries stored food strategically, using stone insulation and ventilation. Crops remained preserved for years, providing security during droughts. Placement near roads and settlements allowed efficient distribution. Observation of climate and storage conditions ensured reliability. Engineering, ecological understanding, and foresight combined to support a large empire. Granaries show how the Incas applied science to social organization, survival, and resource management. Chapter 61. Mayan observatories tracked stars, planets, and eclipses with astonishing accuracy. Temples and windows aligned with celestial events, guiding agriculture and ceremonies. Priests combined mathematics, geometry, and careful observation to predict cosmic cycles. Knowledge of astronomy influenced city planning and rituals. Science and spirituality were inseparable, allowing the Maya to harmonize daily life with celestial rhythms and understand the universe in practical ways. Chapter 62. Aztec markets were centers of trade, knowledge, and culture. Merchants exchanged cacao, obsidian, textiles, and more, applying observation and basic math to track goods. Market layouts reflected organization and efficiency. Buyers and sellers navigated complex systems, demonstrating social, economic, and practical intelligence. Observation, experimentation, and cultural understanding combined, showing how Aztec cities thrived through applied knowledge in everyday life. Chapter 63. Inca terraces were engineered to maximize food production and prevent erosion. Water channels distributed moisture precisely, while crops were chosen for each microclimate. Engineers observed rainfall, slope, and soil to optimize yields. These terraces combined agriculture, ecology, and engineering science. By transforming mountains into productive farmland, the Incas ensured sustainability, survival, and efficiency, feeding millions in harsh and varied environments. Chapter 64. Mayan ball games reflected cosmic beliefs, with courts aligned to celestial events. Players applied angles, force, and strategy, showing intuitive understanding of physics. Victory had social and spiritual meaning, linking sport to ritual. Science, observation, and culture merged seamlessly on the court. Games were more than entertainment. They were lessons in coordination, cosmic order, and societal values encoded in action and architecture. Chapter 65. Aztec temples were precisely aligned with solstices and equinoxes. Priests observed sun and moon positions to schedule rituals and agriculture. Geometry and careful measurement ensured accuracy. Temples functioned as astronomical instruments as well as spiritual centers. Science, culture, and religion intertwined, guiding daily life and reinforcing societal order. Every step and alignment reflected observation, calculation, and understanding of the natural world. Chapter 66. Inca suspension bridges spanned deep gorges, woven from grass and maintained by communities. Engineers observed tension, materials, and environmental factors for safety. Roads and bridges facilitated trade, communication, and military movement. Practical knowledge, physics, and social cooperation combined. Inca infrastructure demonstrates how science, engineering, and organization enabled civilization to thrive across challenging mountainous terrain. Chapter 67. Mayan scribes recorded history, astronomy, and rituals on codices and stelae. Glyphs encoded complex information visually, preserving knowledge for generations. Mathematics and observation informed writing and record-keeping. Knowledge guided agriculture, ceremonies, and governance. Science and culture intertwined seamlessly, allowing the Maya to apply empirical observation to societal needs while maintaining sacred and historical continuity. Chapter 68. Aztec floating gardens were engineered ecosystems where crops thrived on nutrient-rich mats. Fish fertilized soil naturally, water circulated efficiently, and plant selection optimized yield. Observation, experimentation, and ecological understanding were central. These gardens supported dense populations sustainably. The Aztecs demonstrated practical environmental science, turning challenging urban landscapes into productive, self-sustaining systems that combined survival with ingenuity. Chapter 69. Inca roads and relay systems connected distant cities, allowing messages to travel rapidly. Engineers used drainage, durable materials, and slope management to ensure longevity. Observation of geography and environmental conditions guided construction. Communication networks allowed administration, trade, and military coordination. Science, logistics, and planning merged to create one of the most organized civilizations in history, demonstrating mastery of infrastructure and empirical knowledge. Chapter 70. Mayan mathematics applied base 20 and 0 to complex calculations. Astronomers used this system to predict eclipses, track planets, and plan agricultural cycles. Numbers guided construction, festivals, and governance. Math was both practical and spiritual. Maya innovation shows how abstract thought supported daily life and ritual, blending observation, calculation, and societal needs into a coherent system of knowledge that endured for centuries. Chapter 71. Aztec warriors trained from childhood in strategy, endurance, and weapon skills. Observation of enemy movements, terrain, and environmental conditions improved battlefield success. Science and practical knowledge guided tactics. Discipline and skill determined rank and survival. Military campaigns combined observation, training, and calculation, showing how the Aztecs applied empirical understanding of human and natural factors to maintain a powerful, efficient fighting force. Chapter 72. Inca terraces maximized farmland on steep slopes, preventing erosion and retaining moisture. Water channels distributed rainfall, and crops were selected for each microclimate. Engineers observed soil, rainfall, and elevation to optimize productivity. These terraces combined agriculture, ecology, and engineering. The Incas transformed mountains into fertile land, demonstrating sustainable solutions that fed millions while applying science practically in challenging environments. Chapter 73. Mayan pyramids functioned as temples, observatories, and political symbols. Alignments with solstices and equinoxes allowed precise tracking of celestial events. Mathematics and geometry guided construction. Priests used observations to schedule ceremonies and agricultural activities. Every structure reflected a combination of science, culture, and spirituality. The Maya connected human life with cosmic patterns, applying knowledge practically while honoring the sacred. Chapter 74. Aztec chinampas created highly productive floating gardens. Fish fertilized crops naturally, and water circulation maintained nutrients. Observation, experimentation, and ecological science guided design. These gardens allowed multiple harvests yearly, supporting urban populations efficiently. The Aztecs engineered sustainable food systems, blending practical knowledge with creativity and observation, turning challenging landscapes into thriving agricultural zones. Chapter 75. Inca roads and bridges allowed fast communication, trade, and troop movement. Chasquis, relay runners, carried messages across mountains efficiently. Engineers accounted for slope, drainage, and material durability. Observation and practical knowledge ensured safe, long-lasting infrastructure. Roads connected regions, enabling administration and commerce. Science, logistics, and engineering merged to create a network that held the empire together across challenging terrain. Chapter 76. Mayan astronomy tracked the sun, moon, and planets with precision. Observatories allowed priests to predict eclipses and agricultural cycles. Mathematics and careful observation guided societal planning. Science and ritual were inseparable, linking cosmic knowledge with governance and daily life. The Maya applied empirical observation practically, ensuring festivals, farming, and religious events aligned with celestial rhythms. Chapter 77. Aztec medicine used over 1,500 plant species. Observation of effects and experimentation guided treatments. Rituals complemented care, connecting body, mind, and spirit. Hospitals existed for warriors and citizens alike. Knowledge passed through apprenticeships ensured continuity. Science and tradition merged seamlessly, showing how empirical knowledge supported health while respecting cultural beliefs, keeping populations strong and resilient. Chapter 78. Inca granaries stored maize, quinoa, and potatoes for years using stone insulation and ventilation. Placement near roads and settlements allowed efficient distribution. Observation of climate and storage conditions ensured reliability. Granaries combined engineering, environmental understanding, and foresight. The Incas applied science to social organization and survival, creating secure food reserves that supported millions across varied terrains. Chapter 79. Mayan ball games symbolized cosmic struggles. Courts aligned with celestial events, and players applied force, angles, and strategy. Victory held social and spiritual meaning. Science, observation, and ritual merged in gameplay. The games taught coordination, strategy, and respect for cosmic order. Maya culture connected learning, entertainment, and religion seamlessly, demonstrating practical application of knowledge in everyday life. Chapter 80. Aztec temples aligned with solstices, equinoxes, and planetary cycles. Geometry and careful measurement guided construction. Priests used celestial alignment to schedule ceremonies and agricultural work. Temples served as astronomical instruments and spiritual centers. Science, religion, and society were intertwined, showing the Aztecs' ability to apply observation and calculation to daily life, governance, and ritual in a precise, practical way. Chapter 81. Inca suspension bridges spanned deep valleys, made from woven grass and maintained by communities. Observation of tension, material strength, and environmental conditions ensured safety. Bridges enabled trade, communication, and troop movement. Engineering, physics, and social cooperation combined seamlessly. These structures demonstrate how the Inca applied practical science and organization to overcome mountainous challenges, connecting distant regions efficiently across the empire. Chapter 82. Mayan scribes recorded history, rituals, and astronomy on codices and stelae. Glyphs encoded complex information visually, preserving knowledge for generations. Mathematics and observation guided record-keeping and city planning. Knowledge informed agriculture, festivals, and governance. Science, storytelling, and documentation intertwined, showing the Mayas' sophisticated approach to preserving empirical data while linking it to culture and spiritual practice. Chapter 83. Aztec floating gardens, or chinampas, created sustainable urban agriculture. Fish fertilized soil naturally, water circulated efficiently, and crops grew year-round. Observation and experimentation guided design, creating a self-sustaining system. These gardens fed dense populations effectively, demonstrating applied ecological science. The Aztecs engineered environments to support large cities, blending practical knowledge, creativity, and environmental understanding. Chapter 84. Inca roads traversed mountains, deserts, and valleys. Drainage, slope management, and durable materials ensured longevity. Chasquis relayed messages quickly, creating an early communication network. Observation of terrain and environmental conditions guided engineering decisions. Roads enabled administration, trade, and military coordination. Science, logistics, and infrastructure combined, showing the Incas' mastery of practical knowledge applied to governance and empire building. Chapter 85. Mayan mathematics included 0 and a base 20 system. Astronomers used math to track planets, predict eclipses, and plan agricultural cycles. Calculations informed festivals, rituals, and city design. Numbers connected spiritual and practical life. The Mayas' mathematical innovations enabled precise observation and record-keeping, demonstrating advanced abstract thinking applied effectively to everyday and ceremonial needs. Chapter 86. Aztec warriors trained rigorously in strategy, endurance, and weapons. Observation of opponents and terrain guided tactical decisions. Science was applied practically in warfare, combining psychology, physics, and discipline. Military skill determined rank, survival, and success. Aztec armies demonstrate how structured training, careful observation, and applied knowledge created efficient and powerful forces capable of defending and expanding an empire. Chapter 87. Inca terraces maximized arable land on steep mountains. Water channels distributed rainfall efficiently, while soil and crop selection were based on careful observation. Engineering, ecology, and agriculture combined to ensure sustainability. Terraces prevented erosion, increased productivity, and allowed diverse crops. Inca farming applied empirical knowledge to solve environmental challenges, feeding millions and sustaining the empire in difficult terrain. Chapter 88. Mayan pyramids aligned with solstices, equinoxes, and celestial events. Temples served as observatories and spiritual centers. Mathematics and geometry guided construction. Priests observed angles and shadows to schedule rituals and agriculture. Science and religion intertwined, connecting human activity with cosmic patterns. Each structure reflects precision, observation, and application of knowledge in daily life and governance. Chapter 89. Aztec chinampas allowed dense populations to thrive. Fish fertilized crops, water circulated nutrients, and careful observation ensured maximum productivity. These floating gardens supported cities and exemplified ecological engineering. Science and practical knowledge merged to create sustainable agriculture. The Aztecs demonstrated ingenuity in overcoming environmental constraints while maintaining balance between human activity and natural ecosystems. Chapter 90. Inca roads and bridges enabled rapid communication and trade. Messengers carried information across mountains efficiently. Engineering considered slope, drainage, and materials for durability. Observation of terrain and environmental conditions ensured safety. Roads connected distant regions, facilitating administration, commerce, and military coordination. Science, logistics, and engineering merged, showing how the Inca applied practical knowledge to build an interconnected empire. Chapter 91. Mayan astronomy allowed priests to predict solar and lunar eclipses accurately. Observatories and temples were aligned with celestial events. Mathematics and careful observation guided agricultural cycles and festivals. Knowledge of the sky informed rituals and governance. Science and spirituality were intertwined, allowing the Maya to harmonize daily life with cosmic patterns and plan events with precision, connecting human activity to the movements of the heavens. Chapter 92. Aztec markets organized food, textiles, and tools efficiently. Merchants tracked supply, demand, and materials using observation and basic math. Markets served as centers of commerce, social interaction, and knowledge exchange. Buyers and sellers navigated complex networks, demonstrating practical intelligence and organization. Applied science, culture, and trade merged, allowing cities to thrive and sustain large populations through innovation and observation. Chapter 93. Inca terraces converted steep slopes into productive farmland. Water channels distributed rainfall evenly, and crops were selected for microclimates. Engineers observed soil, slope, and rainfall to optimize yields. Terraces combined agriculture, ecology, and engineering science. The Incas turned mountains into fertile land, demonstrating sustainable, practical solutions that fed millions and showcased empirical knowledge applied to challenging landscapes. Chapter 94. Mayan ball games reflected cosmic battles and social hierarchy. Courts were aligned with celestial events. Players applied force, angles, and strategy, showing intuitive understanding of physics. Games had spiritual and political significance. Science, observation, and ritual merged seamlessly. The Maya taught coordination, strategy, and respect for cosmic order through play, demonstrating practical application of knowledge embedded in daily life and cultural practices. Chapter 95. Aztec temples aligned precisely with solstices, equinoxes, and Venus cycles. Geometry and careful measurement enabled accuracy. Priests used celestial observation to schedule rituals and guide agriculture. Temples functioned as astronomical instruments and spiritual centers. Science, religion, and society intertwined, showing how the Aztecs applied observation and calculation to daily life, governance, and ceremonial practice with precision and purpose. Chapter 96. Inca suspension bridges, made from woven grass, crossed deep valleys safely. Communities maintained them, showing organization and applied physics knowledge. Bridges enabled trade, communication, and military movement. Observation of materials and environmental conditions ensured durability. Practical science, engineering, and social cooperation combined, reflecting how the Inca overcame challenging terrain to maintain a connected and thriving empire. Chapter 97. Mayan scribes documented rituals, history, and astronomy on codices and stelae. Glyphs encoded complex information visually. Mathematics and observation guided record-keeping, agricultural planning, and ritual timing. Knowledge preserved cultural memory and informed governance. Science and storytelling intertwined, demonstrating the Maya's ability to apply observation, calculation, and documentation to both practical and spiritual life. Chapter 98. Aztec chinampas were self-sustaining agricultural systems. Fish fertilized crops, water circulated nutrients, and plant selection optimized production. Observation and experimentation guided design. These floating gardens supported dense populations effectively. The Aztecs combined practical ecological knowledge with engineering to transform challenging landscapes into productive, sustainable urban agriculture. Chapter 99. Inca roads and relay systems connected distant regions, enabling rapid communication and efficient trade. Engineers accounted for slope, drainage, and material durability. Chasquis carried messages quickly, demonstrating organization and logistical planning. Observation and empirical knowledge ensured reliable infrastructure. Roads linked the empire, facilitating administration, commerce, and military operations, reflecting mastery of science, engineering, and organization. Chapter 100. Mayan mathematics used base 20 and 0, guiding astronomy, architecture, and rituals. Priests predicted eclipses, planetary positions, and agricultural cycles. Numbers informed festivals, ceremonies, and governance. Math connected spiritual and practical life. Maya innovation in mathematics allowed precise observation, record-keeping, and planning. Their understanding of numbers reflects a civilization applying abstract thought effectively to daily life, ritual, and cosmic observation. These 100 facts show the brilliance, creativity, and resilience of the Maya, Aztec, and Inca civilizations. Their innovations in science, agriculture, architecture, and culture shaped history and continue to fascinate us. Remembering their achievements helps us appreciate human ingenuity and the ways ancient knowledge still influences our world. Thank you for watching and exploring history with us.